Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in TayNinhTV province. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, at the online meeting of TayNinhTV provincial steering committee for disease prevention and control taking place in the morning of June 24, 2021, with the attendance of Mr. Phạm Mùng Thái, Standing Deputy Secretary of the TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc, Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, Chairman of the Provincial People Committee, Bryce the Health Sector, TayNinhTV CDC, Trang Bang, for hard working through the night, quickly tracing, localizing, and quickly handling as detecting positive cases in Thanh Công Industrial Park.
Through a random screening test for workers in Thanh Công Industrial Park, 5 workers of Wingar Company Limited were found positive with SARS-CoV-2, in which 4 workers live in Long An, staying and working in Thanh Công Industrial Park. 1 worker lives in Phước Dân Hamlet, Phước Chỉ, commune Trang Bang. According to Dr. Nguyễn Văn Cường, Deputy Director in charge of the Department of Health, the health sector, in collaboration with the PS Committee of Trang Bang and Thanh Công Industrial Park, urgently traced F1, F2 cases. 1,000 workers in the sewing and finishing area of Wingar Company stay in the workshop and do not move to their boarding houses. The F1 cases have been instructed to isolate in place. The health sector took about 610 samples for PCR testing for F1 cases in the same workshop. In other workshops with F1 cases, the Medical Center of Cam Binh cooperated with the company to take samples for testing. Currently, the boarding houses with positive cases have been temporarily blocked, tracing to take the next steps. The Department of Health guided Trang Bang Health Center to disinfect areas with F0 and F1. Thanh Công Industrial Park has planned to repair an isolation place with a maximum capacity of 10,000 people. According to Mr. Trang Binh, Chairman of the PS Committee of Trang Bang, the Town Steering Committee for Disease Prevention and Control has connected with the localities to trace and isolate the patients' families. Trang Bang has prepared to respond quickly, ensuring the most optimal solution for the workers' boarding houses. In the night of June 23rd, 29 F1 cases in Trang Bang have been taken into a concentrated isolation area. Meanwhile, Phước Dân Hamlet, Phước Chỉ commune has also been blocked. Phước Đông Industrial Park has a plan for each situation, preparing for the dormitory, workshops and warehouse as a concentrated isolation area with a capacity of about 30,000 people. Phước Đông Industrial Park currently has 3 F1 and 108 F2. Mr. Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng, Standing Vice Chairman of the Provincial PS Committee, suggested that the health sector consider and advise the Provincial PS Committee to tighten the operation of some types of services. Currently, Wingar Company in Thanh Công Industrial Park has a few isolation areas. The PS Committee of Trang Bang advise and approve in accordance with regulations. The Department of Health consider the preparation of biological products to perform well the testing work. Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, said, up to this point, TayNinhTV still has good control of the epidemic. The localities, the health sector, Trang Bang, the relevant functional sectors focus on performing well the tasks and supporting Trang Bang to perform more quickly in tracing the travel schedule and contact to fight the F1, F2, or 5 F0 cases. Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc also emphasized that the functional units and PS Committee of Trang Bang continue to complete the isolation area at Wingar Company, ensure food sources, activities for workers and environmental sanitation, ensure the distance, establish an isolation team in the isolation area of the company. The most important thing to do as quickly as possible is to trace and identify the source of the infection, to determine epidemiological factors, to identify the pathogens in the community. He also directed that localities pay attention to strictly implement the 5K principle, strengthen the direction, supervision, and inspection of community health, closely examine people from other localities to the province, health declaration for people returning from epidemic areas or epidemic provinces. The Public Security Department cooperates to ensure security and order at the isolation areas. At the meeting, the Peace Committee of Trang Bang Town proposed the province for Trang Bang to apply Directive 15 to prevent and control the epidemic. The Provincial Peace Committee also noted that, depending on the situation, it should add a number of measures assigned the Peace Committee of Trang Bang Town to closely coordinate with the health and transport sectors to ensure both controlling epidemiological factors in the communities while ensuring the circulation of goods. During the implementation, any arising must be reported immediately to the Provincial Steering Committee for Disease Prevention and Control. Regarding the case of patient number 13957 confirmed to infect COVID-19 in Cam Giang commune, Royal District on June 23rd, the Provincial Peace Committee has decided to establish a medical isolation area to serve the localization and tracing of F1 cases. Immediately after the patient's positive result for SARS-CoV-2 virus, Royal District Steering Committee of Epidemic Prevention and Control directed Cam Giang Commune People's Committee to directly survey and block the residential cluster of Group 27, Cam Binh, hamlet, Cam Giang Commune, Royal District, and at the same time implementing epidemic prevention control measures. Up to now, the forces have completed the blockade work, arrange forces to stay on duty and control blockade areas, as well as carry out communication and guidance for households to comply with regulations of the health sector during the implementation of the medical isolation order. Currently, the commune has also coordinated with forces to review the needs, have a plan to provide food and necessities for households in the area.
In the afternoon of June 24, Standing Deputy Prime Minister Duong Minh Chau head up the Government Administrative Reform Steering Committee, chaired online conference to announce the Satisfaction Index of Administrative Service and Reform in 2020 of Ministry, Ministerial, Level Agency and People Committees, the province and centrally run city. For the two indexes announced this time, the province both recorded an increase in rankings.
The Satisfaction Index of Public Administration Services, or CPAS, in 2020 is measured based on the collection of information and feedback from people and organizations about the quality of service and public service provision of state administrative agencies through the form of sociological investigation. This index is only applied to the Peace Committees of the provinces and centrally run cities. TayNinhTV province ranked 40 in the country with 8.36 points, up 4 places compared to 2019. Regarding the Public Administration Reform Index or PRA Index, this index is comprised based on the results of self-assessments of localities and units and the social surveys of people in 8 fields related to administrative reform. TayNinhTV's PRA Index in 2020 increased 17 places, currently ranked the 27 with 84.59 points. On the basis of the announced 2020 indicators, Standing Deputy Prime Minister Duong Minh Chau directed ministry, central branches and localities to continue implementing drastically and effectively the set objectives of administrative reform, further improve the quality of public administration service provision. There are many new measures and solutions to improve the indicators reflecting the administration in the spirit of taking the satisfaction of people and businesses as a measure to evaluate the performance quality of the state administrative apparatus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Association Branch of Professional Farmers and the Association Group of Professional Farmers is a blade to garden member with the same aim, together to produce and consume quality agricultural products along the value chains, contributing to the implementation of the mission to improve efficiency, competitiveness and develop brand names of Vietnamese agricultural products for the strategic goal of developing porous agriculture, civilized and modern rural areas. By the end of 2020, the whole Tây Ninh province has established 164 association branches of professional farmers and more than 1,700 association groups of professional farmers.
Over the last years, the Standing Committee of Tây Ninh Provincial Farmers Association directed their farmers associations at all levels to transform the remaining branches and associations, build them into the professional branches and associations, and move toward building a sustainable relationship among members. Following the model of three types of farmers association branch, cooperatives, enterprises, with good production business farmers as the core, coordinate with organizations and businesses to support farmers, concentrate funds from the Farmers Support Fund, and credit institutions to build production and business development models. One of the grassroots associations that has well implemented the conversion project of the professional association branches and groups is the Farmers Union of Duong Minh Chau, Duong Minh Chau district. This unit has completed 100% of the conversion of professional associations branches and groups. After being transformed, many professional association branches and groups have promoted their strength and gained practical benefits from the form of associations classified by professions. For example, the cow raising group of the Quarter for Farmers Union, with 42 members in the same profession, has created conditions for the association to operate more and more effectively. Members learn from each other's experience, support in animal husbandry, convenience in organizing activities, transferring science and technology in cow breeding, and many other similarities have helped the association operate more and more effectively, attracting more members. These organizations have contributed to improving the quality of activities of branches and groups. The more important point is economic efficiency. After a year of establishment, the cow raising group has increased in size from 82 to 142 heads, thanks to the application of new science and technology in animal husbandry. The annual profit increases on average from 2 to 2.5 million per head. On the basis of the groups operating in the same industry, the Farmers Union of Duong Minh Chau is also more convenient in building projects to borrow loans or support materials for members, such as projects to support materials for the group for fattening cows with a total amount of 22 million Vietnam dong. Science and technology transfer classes are opened more frequently, and we focus on content more specific participants and the right composition. In the coming time, the Farmers Union of Duong Minh Chau will continue to consolidate and improve the quality of activities of the professional association branches and groups to step up and expand the establishment of branches and groups, focusing on solving the practical interests of members and farmers, building new rural areas, civilized city, and sustainable poverty reduction. It can be affirmed that the branches and groups have been an effective model of operation and gather members effectively, creating innovation in the method of gathering farmers.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for joining with us and see you next time.